Hi, welcome to day one of our 40-day sewing challenge. Thanks for joining. So before we start, I want to tell you something really important. There is no way to get this wrong. Um, I've been struggling with my own work lately, so fixating on getting things right, which is completely contrary to how I teach. But that's exactly why we're doing this challenge. We're going to show up, make a mark, again and again. And we're going to let the work really seduce us rather than demanding it to perform for us. So today we're really just going to gather what we need, make our first stitch, and that's it. No real preparation, no perfection, just presence. So I'm going to move my camera now so we can you can see my hands more than my face. So the first thing that we need to do is pick a needle. So I have a little needle book here. I'm just going to pick any needle out of it. Then we need to pick a thread. It could be thread like this, which is wool, used for darning primarily. I've just got my little handy travel tin here with all my sewing bits and pieces in it. It could be this, which is embroidery floss. That's 6-strand embroidery floss. So you have the choice to use anything from 1 to 6 strands in your stitching. These are pre-cut threads. I do this when I'm traveling. So let's pick something that's going to contrast with the fabric. So I'm just going to pick this red embroidery floss. The next thing to do is to pick a textile. So I'm going to use this rather sort of tatty hand towel. It's very threadbare, as you can probably see there, but a perfect textile to show a little bit of love to. And, the love will show up just in stitching on it. It's just in spending time with it. So, okay, here we are. And let's do the first thing that we're going to do, which is thread the needle. So usually I work with a piece of thread that's the length of my shoulder to my thumb. So bring it right up to your shoulder. It can be shorter. I wouldn't do anything any shorter than the length between like your wrist and your elbow. So the first thing so the idea is you want to get this through here. It may or may not work. It's definitely not going to work there. So one of the things we can do is lick it. And once it's wet, we can put it on our nail and finger on top and pull it through. This will kind of flatten it. It's really hard to see on the screen, but then we can thread it like that. Then that works. And what's really important here is that the thread moves quite easily through the eye of the needle. And if it was getting stuck, you know that it cause unnecessary wear and tear on the thread and weaken it. If you can't thread it as easily as I was able to do just there, you could get a bigger needle. You could get a thinner thread or split this embroidery floss into maybe 3 strands, in half. The other thing that you could do is use a needle thread. So as you can see here, so this is the part of the needle thread that you hold, and very faint, that is a very thin piece of wire. So there's absolutely no shame in using tools. Don't for a second think twice about it. So what you want to do is put a piece of wire at the end of the needle threader through the needle, and then what you're going to do is thread your thread through this large hole, which is very easy to get through, goes through quite quickly. And then what you're going to do is then pull your needle threader through the eye of the needle. Now, if your thread is really too thick for the eye of the needle, this will be really difficult to do. So, and you'll end up kind of breaking your needle threader, which is quite annoying. Okay, so there we go. So needle threaded. The next thing we could do, you may choose not to do it, but it definitely makes it easier to work with it if you're new to stitching, is to put a knot on your thread. And so it just means that the thread isn't going to pull through whatever your base fabric is. So here we have the threaded needle. There's the point. So about halfway up the shaft, you put the end of the thread, and then you hold it with, I'm right-handed, so I hold it with my right hand, and then you're going to wrap the thread maybe 4 to 5 times around the shaft. Don't wrap it too tightly, because what you need to do is pull it down over the eye of the needle. If it's wrapped too tightly, it won't pass over. So you can see I'm struggling a little bit here, but I got it. And then you just carry it through, keeping your fingers in place, bring it through to the end. And then what you have is your knot. So there you can see the knot. You could choose to trim this or leave it loose. Just be very careful you don't come too close to the knot, or the knot will unravel. So there you have it. That's absolutely the hardest part of our stitching. We're doing the hardest stuff on the first day. So now we're ready to start stitching. So, honestly, I suggest you don't even think about this. All you're doing is putting the needle in through the fabric and out on the other side. You can see you're not in place. Just make marks just to get started. All you have to do is even make one mark. They don't need to go in any direction. It doesn't need to be a set stitch. You can just make marks. And whatever kind of draws your attention, whatever you're kind of in the mood for. It might change another day. There might be some day that you're doing this and you just feel like you want things to be really regular. And maybe then you just do a straight line running stitch. But the way I'm feeling today, I'm going to do these kind of, cross type stitches of no particular order, or there's no rule to them. And that's it. We're done. We're started. You can decide just to do 1 or 2 stitches. You can decide to stitch until you finish your thread, whatever you decide. But the only requirement is to show up every day for the next 40 days and make a mark. So you can continue just like this, working at your own pace, or if you want to join the paid subscribers, you can follow along for the sewing retreat, where we'll do exercises every day for the next 5 days in mark making, and see what sort of results we get with that. But so you're welcome to join at any level. And the one thing I kind of want to say is don't bring any judgment to your work. You know, it's just do it. When you're finished, put it down. You can leave your needle in the work and come back to it tomorrow. Just, even if you're listening to a song and you just stitch for the length of the song and then just put it down. No judgment, no criticism, and pick it up again tomorrow. Okay? See you all tomorrow. Bye.